Well, it finally happened. Quinshon Judkins officially signed by the Cleveland Browns this morning after a long, drawn-out negotiation process that was complicated by his legal issues off the field that were then dropped and a pending suspension from the league. He has agreed to a 4-year, $11.4 million fully guaranteed contract, same setup that the players that were drafted around him got and his own teammate Carson Swessinger, who was drafted a couple picks before him, got. And so he's on his way to Cleveland. He will not be available tomorrow against the Bengals, which obviously makes sense. He hasn't trained with the team for the last month plus. So the league has also given the Browns an exemption for 2 weeks where Quinshon can practice but not count against the 53-man roster. So it's kind of like they have a 54th player on the team, but he cannot play in games until the Browns deem he's ready to. What that means for when he gets on the field remains to be seen. He could play as early as next week in maybe a limited capacity. Or they could wait and use this exemption of 2 weeks to get him up to speed. And then he plays in week 3. We'll see what all that means. And I think we understand that from a football standpoint, this is massive that he's back in the fold. He was supposed to be part of one of the focal points of this offense, really the identity of the offense, centered around this great run game and Kevin Stefanski's system and the play action that you get off of it. And so getting him back, and once he's up to speed, yeah, it does, I think, add an element to this offense that we were maybe sort of wondering if it was going to be there early on when he wasn't here. But we still have to see how this plays out, because even though he wasn't found guilty and none of this stuff went to trial, even though he's now with the team and signed the fully guaranteed deal, there still could be a suspension from the league at some point. They're still investigating it. And as we know, the personal conduct policy is different than any legal action. A player does not have to be found guilty to be suspended in the eyes of the NFL through their personal conduct policy. So those are important things to keep in mind, because that still could be coming down the pike here. And I almost wonder if there's language in his deal that he won't lose money because guarantees are voided if you get suspended, that allowed this to finally get to the finish line and allow him to show up and be part of this. So don't know all the contract details yet, but big news, obviously, that Quinshon Judkins is back in the fold. We'll see him practice for the first time this week and have plenty to react to with that coming up on the Locked On Browns podcast.